Dude, this week, it's one of those, man, I'm telling you, bro. I've really felt every day go by. Like every hour of the 24 hours. It's like such days are just so long, I feel like, man. How's it hanging with you two?
Long days, shorter nights, shorter weekends, bro. Last weekend was so short. I think it's because it's so hot, to be honest. I'm having a tough time, getting myself up to go out and do stuff because it's so hot. You know what I mean? Here, it's so humid. You go out, you come home, you got to take a shower. You go out, anytime you go out, you got to shower because it's nasty.
Definitely been summer, 2 a days, dude. Definitely been 2 a days.
Dude, it's such BS. Because my garbage bins are pretty far. So just walking over there, I'm I don't want to go. I'm going to have to take a shower
after pavement too, man.
Yeah, after just taking out the garbage, you need to shower. So
heat index through the roof.
Dude, it's horrible. And the air conditioning bill is just out the roof. Summer, dude. Summer is supposed to be... Remember when we were in school? How fun summer was?
Yeah.
Now look at us.
Talking about long days.
Yeah. So we got what? July is usually tough. August is... By the end of August, we're almost... I feel like we're getting there. I guess we're only halfway through July.
Well, honestly, this July has been a lot better than last July. Because last July, I don't know if you guys remember, in Arizona, it was every single day in July was over 110 degrees.
I do remember that.
It has not been that way this year. It's still been hot as hell, but not to that level.
That's crazy, dude. They said on the news here that it just hit 102, I think, on Tuesday. And they said they haven't seen temps like this in the last 8 years. So, breaking records over here in DC as well, man. Should we get started, you think?
Yeah, before the climate crisis gets us.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another District Gooner Pod, episode 56. I'm KP. Tourney season is officially behind us. Here with me to chat about it all is my co-host, Steven, and my silent co-host, Ron.
Howdy. We back at it again. I'll throw it over to you, Ron.
How's it going? I was just too excited. I haven't spoken a while on this pod, so it's nice to be back.
Dude, it's always good to have you, man. And I'm so sorry, man. Last episode, at the end of the show, we were recording outros, and I totally forgot that you had done a take, and I was already done mixing the whole thing, and the outro got cut. This episode will give you a nice long one, mate.
I don't even know if I need that. It's okay. I was not hurt for too long.
That's good. Would you say you were less hurt than the way England got knocked out and finished second in the Euros?
I predicted it was coming home, but in my head I knew it was never going to happen. They almost got away with it. But yeah, I was not hurt. I feel like the better team won.
That's it. End of. Better team won. They put up a fight. I guess give it to England a little bit. They did put up a fight. I hate to just back the boys here on the pod, but we've been preaching the same stuff from the beginning on England. Didn't happen. They lost. It was kind of almost like a inevitability about it, I think. Spain is just too good to play Harry Kane up top for 60 minutes. It's 10 versus 11 out there. It's tough. It's tough going.
It is, and at the same time, it kind of feels like yesterday's news. Everyone's already moved on from it, because it's just all right, oh well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think if England had won, everyone would still be buzzing, right? Everyone would be buzzing, but Spain won. It was the best team. We've seen it before. It's Spain. What do you think about, I see you got a note here on Rice. We had Saka in the final. What do you think about the performances from the boys?
I think they're going to be so tired, dude. I don't expect them to be on the tour at all. I think we'll probably just see them the week before. I imagine they need to really check out, dude. I mean, it was already a very long Premier League season, and then on top of it, to go that far in the tournament and finish the way it finished, have the drama throughout with the media that it did. It just feels so exhausting to me, and I'm happy it's over. Performances, yeah, they still got a lot of hate. I feel like both of them, but the good news is, I suppose that Gareth Southgate has stepped down officially, it seems.
It's about time. I mean, credit to him. I should back up. Credit to him because, I mean, he brought England back into a culture where they were at least placing very, very well throughout these last tournaments. I know in the World Cup, they only made it to the quarters, I believe. But I mean, he made a couple of finals, lost very close games. I think he brought them back to where England perhaps should be placement-wise. But maybe it's time for an offensive manager to bring them across the line performance-wise.
I think that's well put. They don't have an identity. Which is just a shame because they're so good. I kind of feel like they have a lot of powerful players. That's what I would say. Like their midfield, Jude, Declan, runners, right? You got Walker, I guess Trippier they have a lot of power. Saka on the right. Like, I think they have powerful players. If you were smart and played Ollie Watkins up top, they have something there. I think they do have an identity, but it's been covered up by whatever horseshoe ball is, I guess.
Shoehorse FC, dude, you know all about it. Listen, so the one thing, I guess, to bring it back to Arsenal, it was really nice to see Nico, Chu, dude, Nico Williams, man. Got the goal in the final against Walker. Looked pretty good overall. Again, it seems like Barcelona are coming in hot, trying to get a deal done. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But what a player. What a performance from him. What a tournament for him, man. To really announce himself, I feel like.
100%. So, Iñaki Williams' little brother. That's how I kind of knew about him. Like, just didn't know about him as a player at all. Just like, oh, he's probably fast then if he's his little brother. But man, we talked about the beginning of the tournaments, players that shine in these. Oh, like now become, I'm gonna say he's probably like a household name now after what he just did, like in all of these games. It's like that. This is a classic international tournament. Young star comes out, and yeah, now he's gonna get his big move. I hope he decides to put on red. I hope there's something going on, but to be fair, as a Spanish dude, when Barcelona come knocking, fair enough.
Fair enough, dude. Who knows where to get the money from? Who knows? Everything you hear about them is like financial crisis, and then here comes another big signing. So, I don't know. 2 + 2 = 1,000, dude. On the transfer front, actually, speaking of putting on red, did you see the new Arsenal jerseys that got dropped, Steven? The black with the red and green. What do you make of those?
Clean. I like them. I think they're clean. Last year's were nice as well. I mean, I think it's kind of what we do, right? We've had a few stinkers throughout the years, but it is what we do.
Those are really nice. I saw the kit release as well, and I was like, wow, those are. If I was an Arsenal supporter, I'd be all over that.
And you know what? I have to give a shout out to the neon kits from this year. Those really grew on me, man. I feel like whenever the record in that kit had to be pretty good. I feel like a lot of good performances in the neon kit. So one to remember. Obviously, initially didn't like it, but I think it's one to remember.
100%. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not as buzzed about it as you, to be honest with you. It looks cool, but I'll have to kind of see it. I'll have to see how it goes with the shorts, I guess. I haven't seen the full look. I've only seen the top. We'll see how it's fully dressed. I'm not as buzzed about it, but...
Do you know the color of the shorts?
No. Like if it's all black, I don't know if it's like black on white or red. I don't know anything about
My
it.
assumption will be black on black. That's just my assumption.
That would be my guess too.
So we'll see. We'll see it in action. We'll see what the record is. Honestly, as long as the record is good, I don't care what it looks like, bro. As long as they can find each other on the pitch. To kind of chat about the tournament a little bit more, not too much though. I wanted to get to all the transfer news that's been coming out, and we have to talk about Copa. There was so much drama in that final, and all over the timeline, dude. Just really quickly, so the team of the tournament they put out for the Euros included 6 Spanish players, basically their whole midfield, the 2 wingers and Cuckoo, he got in. And then they had Musiala at center forward with the French goalkeeper, Mignon. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, Magnan.
And then on the defense, they had Walker from England, Akanji, and Saliba. I'm cool with... I guess it's hard. It's weird. 6 feels overwhelming from one nation to me. But okay. I'm just shocked that Kyle Walker got into this team. What are your guys' reactions to this squad?
Oh yeah, I think it's ridiculous that Walker was included in the side. I feel like they could have gone a couple of different directions in that. Kimmich played right back the whole of the tournament, and I feel like he was good enough to get team of the tournament. Honestly, I think that because there's so many Spain players in the team, maybe that's why Carvajal didn't make it. Because honestly, Carvajal had a great tournament. You know, love to hate him, but at the same time, like he played really well, contributed to the offense a lot as well, and he's just solid. So Walker does not deserve to be in there whatsoever. I feel like he would admit it. I feel like City fans admit it. England fans admit it. Like, I don't know what he's doing here.
I agree with that. It's just so much red. I think Carvajal, like if I'm thinking of an alternative for that right back position, I would have picked Carvajal. Great tournament. I guess the one knock on him would be that he missed the game against Mbappe. Maybe that goes into consideration. But like, if I was going to remove somebody, I'd probably remove Fabian Ruiz, and you could put someone else in there, like in the center mid spot. There's so many good players that had good performances. That's the one to switch out. But Kyle Walker, more of a center back, I would say. Ultimately, by the end of the tournament, like working with the 5 in the back. Was he at 2 of the goals in Spain? I think he was kind of liable for both of those. Is that right?
I feel like for the second goal, I believe yes. But I think that Mainu also wasn't really tracking back super well. You know, if you look at the footage as well, I saw a bit of a breakdown on that Mainu wasn't really tracking Olmo down super well, so Walker had to come inside. And then Nico, you could see him kind of free up as a result of Walker having to cover that space. And so, you know, he can't cover both sides of the pitch at once. And so it does happen to be on his side. But at the same time, you could see, you know, why that would be the case or why people would see Walker at fault there.
And I think that's a big point. Let's talk about like Trent. This team just having issues building up and everything. Issues not creating. And if I think people's argument would be like, well, if you're going to mess up defensively, if you're not going to be there 100%, well, then let's just put Trent out there, which fair enough. He can create. The stubbornness from the guy. I'm interested to see what they're going to look like in 26, man. I am. They have so many good players. There's so many different, as he kind of displayed in this tournament by the end of it, he's changing things up. There's options that to be had. Kyle Walker, yeah. Team of the tournament. I'm assuming this is probably going to be his last tournament as well.
That's definitely one of the factors. I feel like I still think sometimes they take those things into consideration. But I have to be honest. I think for me, I wish some of the players from like a Turkey or an Austria would have gotten in. I feel like maybe a Georgia games I watched, their defense was really good. I wish they would have, included some other folks from other countries there that maybe didn't play as far in the tournament. I don't know if your advancement has to play that much of a role in making the tournament. I also feel like I wish Conte made the midfield, for example. I thought he had a really good tournament. It was really fun to see him. It was surprising, his appearances, but he could have made that. So who knows how they even decide this? I'd be curious to know what their algorithm is for picking the players.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think Conte, because he's been so out of the mainstream recently with his move to Saudi, like, it doesn't surprise me, or it was surprising to a lot of people that he played so well. But like overall, I guess it doesn't surprise me that Conte would play as well as he did. I thought the Georgian keeper could have made it over Magnan, like the way that you said as well. That would have been my biggest snub of.
That's a really good shout, dude. Or even a Diego Costa. Honestly, I thought tough.
That's
I don't
fair.
know.
That Turkey goalkeeper had the save of the tournament. My shot would be not Cucurella, but the left back from Turkey. And I don't know his name, number 20, my boy.
The pickers also didn't know his name, so they're like, well, it's got to just go to Cucurella.
Gotta go to Cucurella. Did you see Cucurella was chatting shit back to Gary Neville on Instagram, apparently?
I did see that. That was kind of funny. It's like, I feel Gary probably gets some satisfaction out of that, though. Like, you're listening to me. You'll listen to me talk during the season as well, big man.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, I had some like little awards written here. I don't know if we want to go through them or not. Surprise of the tournament. I feel like we already kind of touched on that. Were you surprised by anything else?
No. We don't have it on here, but game of the tournament. And I'm going to give it to Austria, Turkey. That was phenomenal. Top to bottom, the refereeing. Excellent.
I agree with that. My surprise player was Goulet, only because like he had a lot of hype to him, but I don't think I've ever seen him actually play on the pitch. So, he had been injured for Real Madrid's season for most of the season last year on his debut. So to see him and to see him score that kind of goal, like that's crazy. Because Yamal, like there's been a ton of hype on him, and he's also been playing a lot, so you can kind of see it from him. But Goulet, I think that was cool to see too.
That's a nice shout, dude. Austria Netherlands was also a good game. I remember there's a lot of firepower in it. Did you have an underachiever of the tournament? Like, was someone overhyped going into it that kind of didn't perform to that level? Beside the whole English squad.
I feel like it's harsh what I'm about to say, because of his injury. But Mbappe really, like, to me, didn't live up to the hype coming into the tournament, especially the hype with him coming to Real Madrid as well. Like, there's so much storyline, so much intrigue there. And obviously he did break his nose, so that makes sense. But overall, I felt like his tournament was just pretty meh. Like, as well as the underachiever nation for me was France too, based on performance.
That is probably the biggest one, like on the mountaintop. Just made the move to Real. That happened this week. He's the guy, right? Like, he's technically the big man on campus now. And he put up quite a few stinkers. He had the opportunity in that semi, didn't pull it off, so that's kind of on him. My underachiever would be Christie, man.
Wow.
I think
Say
Christie,
more about that.
And this is obviously we're leaving out England because there's a few players you can name, but Christie, no goals. I think is it written? Like, this is it. I don't think he played necessarily bad. I'm not gonna say he had a terrible tournament, but he underachieved. How many free kicks you took, right? And like, you don't have a goal.
Shame.
I think he might have had an assist or two. He might have, but it's just, I think he underachieved from what his expectations are and how many minutes he played.
He for sure had the one assist to Bruno. I can't think of any other assist that he would have had during the tournament.
Yeah, no, that's a really good shout. All right, I like it, man.
Who's yours? Who you got?
Well, you said to leave out England, but I had already picked Phil Foden, to be honest with you. I thought Phil Foden really underachieved this tournament. I felt like there was a lot of hype about him. I felt like, you think back to Rio's comments around world class, and you remember the whole world class debate that was being had during this season. And I think ultimately he was named maybe player of the season. So for the Premier League player of the season to have no influence in 7 games. Did you see those 007 memes that were going around? I think definitely my underachiever of the tournament.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to place that as well because of the system that he was playing in. You know, if you're talking about trying to play in a system where, you know, he likes to play in balls in behind and you're playing with Kane, who's he supposed to play the ball to, right? And I think about some moments as well that, you know, he hit the post on that shot outside the box. He goes 4 inches inside. That's one of the wonder goals of the tournament. You know, Dumfries clears a ball off the line for him as well. The same game that goes in. It was a fantastic build up to that moment. He just fell short. So I understand. I'm disappointed as well in terms of Phil's performance in the tournament as a whole. But I also am trying to see it in the lens of the system, who he's playing with, and, you know, some of the moments he fell short a little bit. And, you know, I don't think that he played poorly by any means. It was just more that I don't think that it came off for him.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, honestly, I wasn't like bringing it up for debate. I wasn't also like pointing a specific finger like that. So I'm just saying, you know, the hype going into it didn't match. So
I think he would agree, right? Like if you asked him, like, did I underachieve? I think he would say, yeah. And as a team, they underachieved. So, well, I guess they didn't underachieve. They did make it to the final. I'll take that back. That's not true. You didn't make it to the final. So that's not underachieving. But I'm sure he feels that way.
When I did the underachiever for like nations, I did underachiever for performance and underachiever for placement, right? Like France for me, performance, England for me, performance, Portugal for me, placement, right? I think that they should have probably gone further.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. So what did you have for overachiever?
Overachiever for the player, I did put Cody Gakpo. I mean, the fact that he was one of the joint top scorers, that's significant. Didn't have like a baller season for Liverpool. He did have goal involvements for them, of course. And then Switzerland, I think they were a pretty big overachiever as well. They went pretty far, and their performances also looked really good as well. So
I'll take overachiever, and I think it's an Italian man named Calafiori. Never heard of him before. Never heard of him before. Never. I mean, Bologna, you know. But now he's looking to get a big move, so that's an overachieving. Made the comment about Nico Williams, like you go into the international tournament, like he's one of those players, like he now is becoming going to be a household name other places because of his performance. So I give him the shout out. Overachiever as a nation, it's got to be Turkey. I don't think they were supposed to be where they were, and in the games, right? Even when they got eliminated, they were in the game, they were there. So shout out to them.
Shout out to them, dude. My dark horse, bro. Yeah, they were definitely my overachiever too. I was just excited for him to get out of the group. So way to go, man. That's good. And their fans overachieved too. And I got to give a shout out to the Netherlands fans. They also overachieved with all their flair and dressing up as orange. For the player, I would say a player we've mentioned frequently actually on this pod, Dani Olmo. I mean, I think he's a good player. I'd known about him, but to see what he delivered in his tournament, I feel like he overachieved for his name as well.
That's it. Like he's now becoming. I think we know about Dani Olmo. He's played in Champions League and stuff, but I mean, in that talented Spain team that's excelling, he came in and took somebody's spot basically. So he's looking like a big man.
Okay, so before we get into all the transfer talk that's been going around, let's really quickly chat about Copa. I think holistically looking at it, we've said it on the pod, it's been a hard watch. I think the officiating has been sus. The pitch has been questioned by many. I mean, it was so bad. Messi broke his ankle in the final because of the pitch, it looked like. And you also had the issues with the stadium at that final game. People crawling through vents, unlike anything I've seen before. It was fascinating, dude. I was frustrated that game kept getting delayed, delayed. I started just watching House of Dragon. The episode dropped by the time kickoff was coming around. It's just like, forget about it, dude. And then you have the Argentinians who became champions and started singing racist chants on their way home. That's just a cherry on top and the epitome of the tournament, I feel like.
What a shambles, huh? Like, to have that glory of winning a trophy and then to just ruin it, moments later with something like that, right? Enzo puts that on his live story, which is insane, just as a whole.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah. Like, they know it's wrong. They know it's wrong, right? Like, they know that's not a good song, right? Maybe singing it for the lulz or whatever it is, but to put that out, and he's already put his apology out on Instagram in blue Comic Sans font, I thought I should say as well. That was hilarious to me. Like, nothing says I'm sorry like blue Comic Sans. But yeah, tainted the final. Did you see Messi put out a picture like the next day or like as soon as possible of him and his son hanging out, kind of as like a, just so you know, I wasn't there. Like, I wasn't in that bus.
It was super interesting, the names dropping who wasn't on the bus. Like, that came out pretty quick. I wasn't near it, man.
It's too bad. It's too bad he does something like that because he has French teammates and they obviously are now gonna, they're not gonna back him, right? Like, that's just, it's a real shame. They did this at the World Cup, I think. Like, this is maybe a Argentinian tradition. I'm not really sure, but they did it at the World Cup. I think there was backlash. Absolute donut, right? Like, he put it on his live stream. Are you kidding me, dude? Like, obviously this is why he's a professional footballer and not a scientist.
Yeah, as a teammate, like, even if you're participating in that, which is still bad, like, as a teammate, you got to be like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, you're posting that? Like, you're videotaping us on the bus, like, doing this stupid stuff, like, and you're doing it live? Like, real bonehead move overall.
It's been happening often, I think. I think I saw something about Yamal was on live stream in the Spain locker room, and one of the players' bare ass was just in it. And it's like, dude, you don't have to be constantly sharing everything with everyone, bro.
Did you guys actually watch the football? Did you actually watch the final?
I didn't.
I watched from like the 75th minute, I think, because I had a session right when it started, from the 75th minute to the rest of the match, the end of the match.
Okay. So it was a shame it got delayed. Like,
yeah.
On the East Coast, it started at like 9:30, I think. That's too late. I'm not staying up to watch that game. I did watch the first half, and Colombia looked really good. I probably, if I could have put in a bet at halftime, I probably would have taken them. But I watched the highlights, and I think Argentina, they're too much. Put the stink on them.
A little bit much, dude. Ended up, 1-0, it looked like anyways. So kind of disappointing, honestly. I wish there was more goals in it, but just to close the conversation on the chant, do you think there should be any action taken by FIFA, for example? Maybe say 2026 World Cup, they just ban a few of these players or suspend them for a first game. I feel like for an organization that's so loud and proud about no room for racism, is it warranted to take some kind of action like that? Is that better than 2 years of people taking a knee?
100% they should take action. Now, ruling them out of like a World Cup game, I think that might be too drastic. But it's like the NBA, like American sports wise. Players get fined, players get suspended for these types of actions. Using homophobic slurs in basketball has been said, get suspended, right? It could just be within their FIFA as an overarching, I guess, organization. Can they enforce it in the Premier League? Can they enforce it then in the next international games or whatever? There absolutely should be a stance. Let's just say in the Euros, the guy from Turkey that held his hands up in like the fascist symbol or whatever, he got suspended, the center back. You guys both look confused. Demirel.
No, yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Okay, so that happened, Keon, and they suspended him. UEFA suspended him, and he couldn't play the next game. And this was after he scored the goal. It's like after
I knew he had gotten suspended. I didn't know that was the reason for it.
Yes, so that was the reasoning. We've talked about U.S. Mexico here on the pod. In the games, they try to stop the games and all of that for using homophobic slurs. These are the players doing it. The people on the pedestal, the people we are watching, and they are doing it. So they're setting the example for the public. Yeah, you have to do something. Just like you just said, man. Do you practice what you preach, or is it just for the headlines and stuff? We all know FIFA's corrupt, and there's issues with the organization. But like, this is an easy one to me. This is a slam dunk. You have to take action. It's easy. He put it on his live.
let me just say, allegedly, I don't want to get a cease and desist, dude, from FIFA with you calling them something like that. They've definitely had some trouble in the past. I think there's a Netflix documentary on it, actually. If anyone's interested, you should go and check that out. And yeah, dude, I hear you. And one thing on the whole topic in general, I think if there's one thing I want the listeners to walk away with is also understanding that you don't have to be white to be racist. I think sometimes that scares people. I think it's good that we have these conversations, but also like it's not that you're just white and you're racist and this is something against Argentina. I think it's just a bigger issue that we have as a society that I'm not sure if we'll ever be able to overcome. But as someone who's had firsthand experience with racism, I mean, I think I can speak on it a little bit. And in America, I mean, I've experienced it from a black man before. So it's all around us.
No room for racism in life or in this game that we love. You know, if you're doing dumb stuff, you deserve to be punished for doing said dumb stuff. I don't think that they'll be punished for a World Cup game specifically. They'll probably get suspended for like a Nations League type thing or a qualifier of some sort. And ultimately, does that punishment match the crime? I don't know. But hopefully some lessons will be learned. Maybe they need some mandatory sensitivity training as well.
Some training would be really good. I mean, even for Yamal. I know he's just turned 17. It's like, hey, man, like, chill with the social media. All right, well, let's move on to all the headlines that have been going around. From an Arsenal side, the boys are back in town. Did you see that, Steven? Some training videos coming out. The manager giving a big interview. The vibes are starting to turn, man, and I think they'll be playing in the US here pretty soon.
Exciting. Now that there's no football, what are we to do for the summer? I think the Olympics start here, so that'll be cool. But yeah, man, it's nice to see them get back on the field. I seen a picture of Vieira in the weight room, so I'm hoping he comes back 15 pounds heavier instead of looking like, what do they call him, Teabag from that show. But yeah,
they call him Teabag? Cool. That's crazy.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's from what's the show? Prison Break, I think.
It might be.
Yeah.
Is it Prison Break? Yeah. The guy. To be fair,
he looks like him, bro. Guy. He does look like him.
That's funny. But yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of transfer news going on. I see you got a couple items on here. A deal for a goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper, dude. 18-year-old Tommy Stetford. Signed and sealed for $1 million from Ajax. Little youth player who knows, you know, with our track record, maybe we'll get some call-ups just to sit on the bench for a Champions League game.
What's his nationality?
I think he's English.
I'm pretty sure he's English.
Tommy Stetford.
From Ajax, he has to be good, right? 18-year-old? He has to.
He should be good. Yeah, it's exciting. It's fun that you don't ever really hear news like this. But $1 million for an 18-year-old goalkeeper, it's like, hey, go on, son.
They just got $4 million for that striker that put in a bunch of goals last year. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's from Ajax. That's automatic. Like this guy. I just said that was a slam dunk. This is a slam dunk. He's from Ajax. He's 18. He has to be good.
Has to be. All right, let's see. There's two outgoing business from the Arsenal side as well. We can now confirm. That's what they say in the biz, bro. I can now confirm what everyone else has been reporting. So we can now confirm, as we kind of teased on the last pod, Sambi is officially on the way to Sevilla, and Nuno Tavares is officially on the way to Lazio. Great, they both include sell-on clauses. One has an obligation and the other has an option. So it's exciting, dude. I'm glad we're getting these clauses into our contracts. I feel like for the longest time, Steven, since basically the day we bid 40 million and 1 cent for Luis Suarez, I've been convinced that we're not surrounded by the best lawyers, the club. But it feels like we've turned a chapter there, and I've gotten some new contract writers into the door.
Small steps, man. We're taking baby steps in the right direction, which is good. I saw the thing about Smith Rowe, 30 mil, and we shot it down.
Rejected, dude.
So adding on these clauses, maybe we're actually putting our foot down a little bit. Like, no. Yeah, well, if you want a low balls, it's fine, but here's a little clause action for you. Meet us halfway, basically. But the Smith Rowe one was surprising, no lie. 30 mil. Hey, I come knock on your door. Give me this guy for 30. You're number 10. What do you say?
Yeah, it's a no for me, dude. Honestly, I think even when we had talked about it, it's at 40. I think 40 or maybe even 50, dude. He can score in the Premier League. He's had good seasons, dude. And you can't let the injury break of last season overshadow that. And he was just a big part of it. And maybe there's some sentiment there. I get it. I accept it. But 30 million, I think in this window, dude, Sesko. I mean, you just look at a Sesko. They wanted 60, or they're willing to ask for even 80 and say, we'll wait another year. I get there's a 2 years left on his contract and all this stuff, but 30 million, I do feel like we're settling, Steven. And if the point is to stop settling, then this is the moment for it.
I actually agree. If their first bid is like 30, yeah, we can get more out of it. Put your foot down. But that 40 to 35 range seems right to me. I'll say that. And if it's 35, it's with the add-on stuff and the clauses and whatever else there is. But yeah, if their first bid is, that's just negotiating 101, right? They offer the first price, you don't take it. What's behind door number 2? So
I think what's important also is that they're not the only club. It's not just the Fulham. There's also a Crystal Palace in conversation. There's also, maybe interest from abroad. I don't know. But you're not the only bidder, and this is your first bid. So, way to go, Edu, dude. Keep cooking, big man. Keep on cooking, and we'll see. I see there's also links about Reece Nelson to West Ham. Charles Watt, dude, the author that you've mentioned on the pod before. I was actually listening to his stuff earlier, and he was saying how his book's hardcover is out, and he was so cute about it. He's like, sorry for the hard sell at the end. And I was just like, I like this guy, so we'll give him a shout out for free on the pod. Gooner. So, but he did say, Nelson, maybe a 25 or maybe a 20 mil deal with West Ham. I've also seen a double deal with West Ham. Maybe Eddie and Nelson for 50. I saw that just before getting on. That was intriguing. Where do you stand on this?
I'm all for getting rid of Reece. Hasn't shown it, but I think he does. I think he could play somewhere else. I do think that, honestly.
Let me just say that we will never be able to get rid of Reece Nelson. He will forever be in our minds for his winner against Bournemouth.
Yeah. The Reece Nelson game. That's etched in history. It's the Reece Nelson game. So yeah, once a Gooner, always a Gooner. Yeah. But
gotta put it out there for the loyalists out there, bro. Got something for everybody on the pod.
No, we always appreciate the Reese Nelson game. Remember where you were when Reese Nelson hit that volley, bro?
Remember when the world stood still?
But getting rid of him, good for him. I hope he goes play somewhere. The amounts that they're throwing out there, if that's what it is, to be honest, I really haven't been keeping up. I did see West Ham was interested, but if that's the amounts they're throwing out, like, I'm kind of ready to bite off someone's arm, to be honest.
Yeah, it could easily amount to 100 with those three alone, right? And
keep talking.
Those are big threes that you've been wanted, but we'll see, man. We'll see.
Those are the big three. So Eddie to Marseille, is that one still on the table?
I don't know. I saw these links about Abba going to Saudi, and I got kind of excited, thinking, oh, here we go. Here's a little domino effect. But then I saw that Marseille just signed Mason Greenwood, the guy who used to be at United. So I don't know if that means that door is closed or if they would be interested in two strikers.
If West Ham want to do the double, because they got Mikel Antonio, like that dude's, he's got to be old now. He's getting up there,
and so is Bowen. Like their attack needs a little refreshing, I think.
Yeah. So go.
And they tried it. They tried it with Scamacca. Didn't work out.
Go on, Eddie. Go on. Fly, Eddie, fly.
Fly, Eddie, fly, dude. I love it. Well, we already chatted about Nico. That's just me daydreaming. There's a couple of other links with Real Sociedad, dude. We love Real Sociedad, bro. But it doesn't look like it goes through. Zubamendi is kind of coming back up, but there's Mikel Merino. Can't say I know much about him except for the goal he scored against Germany,
which was a stunner. That was an excellent header. I saw things about him, and kind of surprising. His aerial duels are like through the roof. He wins high percentage of them, and he wins a lot. So what I saw was, would he be the perfect left 8 Kai Havertz role? Like, with the reason to get Kai Havertz last year, like the discussion was, oh, he's late arriving into the box, can win the headers on the back post, be that kind of player. This guy to me is maybe more of an actual center mid that can maybe do that role. I've also seen that he's getting a lot of play from Atletico, I think. Atletico Madrid are very interested in him. That's, I think, the thing about some of these Spanish dudes is a big club in Spain come calling. They want to stay home.
They do. They love the sun, dude. They love their siesta. What are you going to do about it? All right, that's I think all the Arsenal news that's been going around. I know the football, there hasn't been much, but I did see Manchester United lost their first preseason game to Rosenborg. That's hilarious. They just announced the signing. Did you see this? The center back from a French team. I forget.
Is it Lille?
Yeah.
Like Lenny Yoro.
Yeah.
I don't know about him at all, but he's 18, center back. I guess we'll see.
Those can go either way, man. Those can go either way.
What are they saying? 50 to 70 is the fee for him for a center back? He's defender market, man. I'm telling you.
I've seen 50. Do you know anything about him, Ron?
No, I don't know anything about him, if I'm being honest.
Okay. I mean, 18-year-old from France. Is this going to be a 3-year loan situation? He comes back and becomes the best center back in the world.
They've been studying the Arsenal playbook, trying to replicate what Mikel Arteta has done at Arsenal. So we'll see, man. Ron, you don't know much about him, but you know a lot about Ederson, and I've seen these links to Saudi. Now they're saying a 30 million offer for this aging goalkeeper has been rejected because Manchester City want 50 million. So Steven, you're sitting here telling me Smith Rowe, maybe we should settle. Like, they're selling goalkeepers for 50, bro.
Ederson is a top 3-4 goalkeeper in the world.
He's not even number 1 for his country.
Yeah, because he's his countryman is number 1 in the world. That's just bad luck.
Maybe, but 50 million?
Ederson has
how old is he, Ron?
Let me see. I think he's like 32.
Oh, I feel like he was maybe 36.
He's 30. So you're talking out of your behind.
That's true. Yeah, I thought he was older than he is.
He's definitely worth a lot more than. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be brash or trying to pull one over on you guys, but he's worth more than Emil Smith Rowe. He's got the best ball distribution in the world. Top 3 goalkeeper in the world. I mean, we don't have to sell him. So why would we accept a 30 million euro offer for that if we don't need to sell him? Same reasons that you guys were saying as far as like hold fast, don't settle. Why would we settle for that?
So he's definitely better than Emil Smith Rowe. I mean, this is a world-class player we're talking about, not a
That's fair,
number
dude.
10 from Arsenal.
All right, I'll concede, dude. I'll concede, dude.
But what I don't get is like, why is this even in the ether? Why is this happening? I mean, a $50 million move to Saudi for a goalkeeper? They're trying to build their league and stuff. Like, does a goalkeeper move the needle? In my opinion, no. And then from City's perspective, like, why would they even want to do that?
So I don't think that they want to, first and foremost. I think that they would feel a little bit more comfortable given that Ortega just signed a new contract with the club as well. And Ederson was out for a considerable amount of time this year because of injury, and Ortega stepped in and played really well. His ball distribution is definitely not as good as Ederson's, but it's still very good. And I think that his shot stopping is honestly better than Ederson's as a whole. So I would say Ederson overall is a better keeper, but Ortega is very, very good too. I don't think that City want to sell him. But I was surprised to hear that this was even going on when the saga first started.
I saw maybe there's like a little falling out with Pep. I saw some clips going around. I don't know if that means much, but I do know he likes to keep a tight ship.
Clips of what?
Ederson and Pep on the sideline. I don't know if it was from this season, what the exact timeline of it was, but I just saw a little dispat and people were saying, "Oh, he's on his way out.
No.
They're not getting along."
You know the clip. You know what he's talking about.
I don't. I really don't. There's never been a spat. I think that there might be a little bit of hard feelings. The only thing that I could think of that would make Ederson maybe not feel as not necessarily as welcome, but as praised as he has been throughout his career here, is that when Ortega did step up, I feel like people in the ether, not necessarily Pep Guardiola, because Pep was really clear on it as well, were calling for Ortega to start over him. Mm-hmm. And so maybe he got his feelings hurt a little bit in that regard, and he wanted to make his move and go somewhere he's appreciated. But I can't imagine Saudi's the place for that. But Pep has been clear, throughout all of his press conferences, throughout Ederson's injury and things like that as well, that Eddie's the number one, and that's really never going to change.
I gotta say it's probably not a good move for Ederson. He's 30. Alisson's definitely older than that. I mean, he's got to be in his mid, I would assume. You can fact check me if you'd like. But if moving into the national team, like he's next in line, basically. You move to Saudi, that's an automatic kind of side eye to me. We're talking Christie got the side eye, N'Golo Kante. We didn't even think he could perform, right? Like he's past it. Probably should have been in the team of the tournament. I think you're right, Keon. So if you go to Saudi, it's just you're off the top level now. And how are you going to be your nation, Brazil's starting keeper if that's the case?
So the only problem with that, and I had thought that Alisson was also a little bit older. He's only 31. So it's not
no way.
So he's not in a really in a position.
That's tough, bro. That's tough
to take that. And so that's my thought as well. Is that like I understand that it would definitely be a backwards move for Ederson, but he has won everything that he needs to win as a keeper, right? He's won the Champions League. He's won the league. He's won the FA Cup. He's won the EFL Cup as well. So, I mean, he's won it all. He's probably not going to move Alisson out of his top spot. So, I don't know.
So I think it's fair. It's a really good point for you to make about all the stuff that he has won and the CV that he has, because I mean Onana just went to Villa for 50 million and he hasn't come close to winning anything. What do you guys think about that transfer? Personally, I'm happy it happened, and it's now starting to become a lot more clear that maybe all the Arsenal chat was just to pump some air into the money bag.
I don't know if that's necessarily a reflection on who Onana is as a player. I actually like him. I don't know if him not winning anything moves the needle for me in either direction. He's played for Everton. I don't even remember who he played with before. He plays for the Belgium squad, who are chronic underachievers. So, I don't know.
I think it's good for him. Like I'm happy for the guy. I don't have any bad feelings about him at all. Looks like a good athlete. He's a big guy out there, which I like. I don't think he's great, but in this system Villa have, like under Une, you need a guy that can run. He can win the ball back. He can run for him. That bowling ball can step a little further forward and do his thing. So I good for Onana. And to be fair, I was out on him for Arsenal, so go on.
Yeah, no, on a personal level, definitely don't wish anything bad on him. On 50 million for Arsenal to have him, maybe I'll be proved wrong. I don't know. It's a brand new season. We'll see. But is he going to help Aston Villa stay in the top 4 again? I'm not sure. You saw what happened with Newcastle. So it's really not that easy. Have you guys come across any other transfer news or anything else you want to shout out? Or should I turn it over to Ron to take us out?
No, I was just going to say City announced the signing of the winger today, Savinho. Played for Girona, was also in Troyes as well, and played for the Brazilian national team too. So that was our first signing. It's nice.
That's cool. You had mentioned them before. I think it was an exclusive.
That came out in February, to be fair. So it's just been a waiting game as far as the announcement goes.
That's good, man. What about you, Steven? Nothing?
Nah, man. I guess we'll come back with some. Now with the Euros over, Euros and Copas, all down to Arsenal news. I got to get back on my feet. To be honest, I'm lacking. I'm lacking right now.
Yeah, we'll see, dude. I mean, as far as the pod schedule, couldn't really be able to predict it for you. Just hope you had a good time listening to this one. And if you have been listening to most of the podcasts and you haven't dropped a rating, today might be a good day to give that a try. Appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy your weekend. And like I said, yeah, we'll see what the preseason game. Probably try to catch it on Wednesday, but we'll see. We'll play it by the news becoming official.
This is your moment, Ron. Don't let him cut it.
Rodri for Ballon d'Or. It's coming home. My campaign starts now. He will come out on top. Thank you for having me.
Be easy.